The unthinkable has happened. Angel Reese has been traded to the Atlanta Dream. Yeah, don't adjust your dials. My first guess is I would assume that Brittany Griner is probably gone from Atlanta, but you never know.
The unthinkable just happened. Angel Reese, the Chicago Sky's second overall pick from 2024, has been traded to the Atlanta Dream, and the internet is absolutely losing its mind right now. Taylor Rooks broke the story on NBA on Prime, and within 45 minutes, the post had 121,000 views, with fans on both sides claiming their team got fleeced. But here's what makes this trade so controversial.
So, trade summary per Annie Constable. Atlanta Dream get Angel Reese and a 2028 second-round pick swap. Chicago Sky get a 2027 first-round pick and a 2028 first-round pick. You gave up 2 first-round picks for Angel Reese? What? Okay. Okay.
Chicago received a 2027 first-round pick and a 2028 first-round pick. Atlanta gave up 2 first-round draft picks for Angel Reese, 2 first-round picks for a player who just completed her rookie season. The Sky's fan base is split down the middle. Half are celebrating like they just won the lottery. The other half is convinced their front office just committed organizational malpractice, and both sides have receipts.
At least we now know she is not a franchise player for any team. Oh, but you got some mad. Oh, F y'all bitch-ass franchise. Whoa, they're mad, boy. They are mad. I'm loving this. I am loving it. Boy, Jeff, F you.
Look at these reactions. Addition by subtraction. Call the cops. I'd like to report a theft. That's a Chicago fan celebrating. Then you've got Atlanta fans saying, y'all just acquired a nightmare. And my personal favorite, finally some good news for Angel. She can be free from this organization. The crash out is real on both sides. But to understand why this trade is so polarizing, we need to talk about what actually happened in Chicago this past season.
Somebody actually said, we're going to have to move games to State Farm Arena. Okay. Okay. Got to be one of the worst trades I've ever seen. Free Camilla also. Y'all don't deserve her either. Let me correct this. Thank God Camilla is free. She's about to ball out. Woo-wee! She is about to wreck it.
Angel Reese averaged a double-double in her rookie season. She set the WNBA single-season rebounding record. Those are franchise player numbers on paper. But there's context everyone's conveniently ignoring. The Sky finished 13-27, missing the playoffs entirely. Reese's offensive game remained limited, shooting under 40% from the field. And then there's the elephant in the room that nobody wants to address directly. The team chemistry was non-existent. Remember when Reese sat out games late in the season citing minor injuries while the team was still technically in playoff contention? Remember the body language during timeouts? The lack of celebration after teammate buckets? Chicago's locker room was fractured, and whether fair or not, Reese became the focal point of those chemistry concerns.
A wreck. Uh-oh. Olivia Miles and Camilla. Oh, boy. What is going on here? Worst franchise in sports organizations. Moo-wee. Angel fans that are in Chicago, not happy. Not happy. Everyone's mad, but Angel wanted the trade. I mean, look, you got to believe.
Now here's where it gets interesting. Chicago wasn't selling out their 4,200-seat arena, even with Angel Reese on the roster. The attendance numbers were mediocre at best. So when fans start talking about how are y'all going to get asses in seats now, they're rewriting history. The seats weren't full before. The jersey sales were good, sure. The social media engagement was elite. But translating that into actual wins and actual attendance, that never materialized.
This person said, for 2 draft picks, triple question mark. Yeah. Finally, Reese can be free from this organization. This person said addition by subtraction, and you get 2 first-round picks. Call the cops. I'd like to report a theft. You got people that believe this is a hell of a trade for Chicago. Let's
Atlanta's perspective is completely different. They're looking at a 22-year-old with elite rebounding ability who just needs the right system and the right coaching. They're betting that Dan Hughes can unlock something in her offensive game that Teresa Weatherspoon couldn't. They're gambling that pairing her with Ryan Howard and Alusha Gray creates a legitimate Big Three in the Eastern Conference. And they're hoping that getting her out of Chicago's toxic environment allows her personality to flourish. But here's the gamble Atlanta's really making. They gave up 2 first-round picks for a player who has never proven she can be the best player on a winning team. They're betting on potential over production. They're hoping the rebounding translates to wins, and they're praying the off-court drama doesn't follow her to Atlanta.
We'll see. I mean, she went to the right city. I mean, either that or, if Baltimore had a team. Y'all just acquired a nightmare. Now, is that a good nightmare or is that a dominant night? Is that a bad nightmare? Which is it? Yeah. Yeah, which is it? Unbelievable.
Let's talk about what Chicago is actually getting back. 2 first-round picks in 2027 and 2028. That's significant draft capital in a league where rookie contracts provide massive value. The Sky can now rebuild around Camila Cardoso, who frankly looked like she had more upside than Reese anyway. They can draft a point guard who actually wants to pass the ball. They can build a culture without the constant media circus. Chicago's front office is betting that addition by subtraction is real. They're betting that 2 potential all-rookie team players in future drafts are worth more than 1 established double-double machine who can't shoot. They're betting that Cardoso becomes the franchise cornerstone they thought they were getting with the 3rd pick in 2024.
Atlanta's offensive rebounds up. Atlanta's shooting percentage down. When is her jersey going to be available? Most Atlanta thing I've seen since Magic City night at the Hawks game. I was right. It is Magic City. All right, here we go. All right.
Now let's address the Brittany Griner situation, because this is where Atlanta's roster construction gets really interesting. Griner came to Atlanta as a free agent, presumably looking for a fresh start after everything that happened in Phoenix. If she stays on this roster alongside Angel Reese, you're looking at 2 of the most polarizing personalities in the WNBA on the same team. That's either championship chemistry or a complete disaster, and there's no in-between. My gut says Griner gets moved back to Phoenix or somewhere else before training camp. Atlanta didn't give up 2 first-round picks to create a media circus. They gave up 2 first-round picks because they think Reese can be a foundational piece. Keeping both players creates too many storylines, too many egos, and not enough basketballs.
Oh, shit. I'm just here for the drama. That's it. That's all I'm trying to see is, woo-wee. Tell me what you think. Angel Reese and the Atlanta Dream. Wow. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.
Here's what nobody's talking about yet. Angel Reese is now in Atlanta. Magic City is in Atlanta. The nightlife is in Atlanta. The social scene is completely different from Chicago. For a 22-year-old who already has a massive social media presence and loves being in the spotlight, this is either the perfect environment or the worst possible situation. Atlanta can make or break young stars. The city has a way of revealing who you really are. Dan Hughes is old school. He's not going to tolerate the antics that flew in Chicago. He's not going to let social media drama affect practice preparation. If Reese buys in, she could have a breakout second season. If she doesn't, this trade becomes one of the worst in WNBA history, and Atlanta's stuck without their first-round picks for 2 years. So let's break down who actually won this trade, because the answer isn't as simple as either fanbase wants to believe. Chicago's case for winning. They got out from under a player who clearly didn't want to be there. They acquired significant draft capital. They can now build around Camila Cardoso without the drama. They freed up cap space for future moves. And most importantly, they can establish a culture based on team basketball instead of individual stats and social media clout. The Sky's front office is betting that 2 future first-round picks will produce more combined value than Angel Reese ever would have in Chicago. In a league where rookie contracts are crucial for building contenders, that's not an unreasonable bet. Look at what Las Vegas did with draft picks. Look at how New York built their roster. Draft capital wins championships when used correctly. Atlanta's case for winning. They got a 22-year-old who averaged a double-double as a rookie. They got the single-season rebounding record holder. They got someone who moves merchandise and drives social media engagement. They got a player who, in the right system with the right coaching, could become an all-star. And they only had to give up picks in 2027 and 2028, which means they're all in on winning now. The Dreams front office is betting that talent trumps chemistry concerns. They're betting that Dan Hughes can coach her up on defense and develop some offensive versatility. They're betting that Ryan Howard and Alicia Gray are strong enough personalities to keep the locker room focused. And they're betting that Atlanta's fan base will embrace her the way Chicago never fully did. But here's the uncomfortable truth that both fan bases need to hear. This trade happened because Angel Reese wanted out of Chicago, and Chicago wanted her gone. That's not speculation. Players don't get traded after one season unless both sides are ready to move on. The sitting out with minor injuries late in the season, the body language, the social media activity, all of it pointed to someone who had already checked out mentally. Chicago could have kept her and tried to make it work. They had her under team control. They could have brought in a veteran point guard, hired a new coach, done whatever it took to build around her and Cardoso. They chose not to. That tells you everything you need to know about how the front office viewed her long-term fit. Atlanta could have used those 2 first-round picks to draft young talent and build through the draft. They could have stayed patient, developed their current roster, and waited for the right star to become available. They chose to go all in on Angel Reese instead. That tells you everything you need to know about how desperate they are to become relevant in the Eastern Conference. The real winner of this trade won't be determined for at least 2 years. If Reese averages 15 and 12 next season and Atlanta makes the playoffs, they look like geniuses. If she struggles with the same issues she had in Chicago and the Dream miss the playoffs again, those 2 first-round picks become an anchor around their franchise. If Chicago drafts 2 impact rookies in 2027 and 2028 who help them build a contender, they look brilliant. If those picks turn into role players while Reese becomes an all-star in Atlanta, the Sky's front office gets fired. What we do know is this: Angel Reese gets a fresh start in a city that matches her personality. Chicago gets to rebuild their culture and their roster simultaneously. Atlanta swings for the fences with a high-risk, high-reward move. And the WNBA gets another storyline to follow heading into the 2025 season. So here's my question for you. Knowing everything we just covered, knowing the stats, knowing the chemistry issues, knowing what both teams gave up and what they got back, who actually won this trade? Are you Team Chicago, celebrating the draft capital and the fresh start? Or are you Team Atlanta, believing that talent always wins and Angel Reese just needed a change of scenery? You can't say both teams won. Somebody got fleeced here. Pick a side in the comments, because I want to know what you really think. And if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button. We're covering every move, every trade, and every bit of drama this WNBA offseason. Let's see who ends up being right about this one.